This is day 2 of my recording, and I've decided to record bits and pieces as I sort of get inspired by things that I see. Now, this is by no means professional quality video, I understand, but I feel the need at this point, after what we just discussed, to sort of tell you what my official diagnosis is. I'd say 13 years ago, I was diagnosed as having paranoid schizophrenic tendencies. Um, I am, I experience things like voices, um, and as I've said, I view it as psychic, although the believability of that claim is highly skeptical, to say the least. Um, I function in my daily routine like any other normal person. I simply have sort of a barrier in my mind to between reality and my perception. Um, it comes from a lot of things in my past, and I experience things, obviously, auditory hallucinations, um, visual hallucinations only rarely. I see images. The voices are associated with specific people. I can see what they look like based on the way they're thinking and of course, the power they have. This is a big issue in my life, is having power over people. I'm not sure where that comes from. From a psychological perspective, I'd say it would be the environment we all live in. Um, as I mentioned, the 6 o'clock news. Think about politics of the day and the constant fear that we are being bombarded with from the media about terrorism and all that. And that all bleeds in on a subconscious level, and we all take it in. And so we're inherently thinking about these things all the time. And so in a schizophrenic mind, um, that manifests as a form of paranoia. I have experienced, although I do not anymore, through hours of meditation and mental effort, um, messages, say from the TV, um, godlike messages at some points. I've also heard animals speaking to me, if you can believe that. Um, So that's three classic symptoms of schizophrenia I suffer from. Um, I'm trying to think if there are any more. At the moment, we'll just leave it at that, and discuss each. First of all, the auditory hallucinations. Why I say it's psychic is because I have fully formed people in my mind. Not just random words like I demonstrated before. That's what it was before. But with meditation and practice, it's grown into fully formed people with identities separate from one another in my mind, who are capable of communicating amongst themselves and with me in an entirely believable dialogue. I don't believe, I find it, I'm, let's just say I'm skeptical that misfiring neurons in a chemical imbalance could create such a real, such a realistic experience, basically to the point where I can have conversations with others in my mind. I'm not denying the science. I'm no fool here. There is no logical reason to believe these are people. However, that belief has allowed me to be a lot stronger and more confident in my life. Although there are huge barriers that go along with that, choosing to look at it that way. Um, don't judge me if you're one of my fellow mental health patients. It's what I have to do to maintain my sense of sanity in this world. Um, the messages from the TV. Well, I'm hoping a number of you who I've contacted on the internet will see my videos, and I actually receive those messages from you as well. It's kind of what inspired me to make the videos in the first place. What it is I'll hear you say something. I'll be consciously aware that I'm watching your video, but a certain phrase you'll use, and I'm not going to name any names because legal reasons, personal reasons, um, but you'll say things, and it'll trigger a thought in my mind, and that thought will overlap what you're saying, like you're projecting that on me. It used to be much more pronounced when I was younger. By the way, I am now 39 years old, and I have a lot of experience with these things. So to say the least, I have. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. um, Getting back to the messages from the TV and why they're so pronounced. Well, I mean, I came to the realization somewhere along the way that yes, Derek, the TV is in fact sending you messages. Exactly what it is saying. You just perceive it because of this mental health issue as an extreme thing. It is. If you understand Descartes' philosophy of the mind, that everything we perceive is in and only in the mind, then you can understand why seeing something when you're in a high state of delusion, like schizophrenics sometimes become, you can understand how that would, the paradigm of receiving a message from the TV and looking at it through the lens of perception, how that could become extremely exaggerated, especially if you're paranoid of something and you're hearing bad news, a disaster in some country or something like that. You feel empathic towards it, you feel fear for the other people, and it's like it's being projected onto you. Visual hallucinations, these for me again are rare and only occur when I'm just about to sleep. I will be, I want to say here my consciousness is elevated, but I don't think that's an accurate statement for any of us to make. I think being aware and in the moment is the highest elevation of consciousness. No, when I'm going to sleep, I'm more internalized. I'm more focused inward on my own mind and what it's experiencing and what it sees, through the mind's eye. And so I can relate all the emotions and all the experiences I've had with a specific voice uh, throughout the day, and it will come up in sort of a metaphoric image of who they are and what they represent to me in that moment after having realized all they've said. That's as far as visual hallucinations get to me. Except for once in a while I hear mocking laughter. I am told people are laughing at me because they have so much power over me. They have so much control in my life and my thoughts. And I'll see a face smiling in the sky. It's kind of absurd, and you know, you have to have a thick skin because as much as everybody likes to say they don't care what other people think, you really, I think, if you looked at yourself honestly, do. And those kind of opinions have a very powerful sway over you. When I was younger, I was hanging out with street kids, and I learned to just simply not give a flying hoot about what people's opinions were, and that's given me strength. Basically being able to not ignore but shrug off the embarrassment of being so seen by other people and laughed at for being weak, which is another common theme. The strength and weakness, power and control. These are the kind of dynamics that play out in my mind. For others, it may be other things. If anybody wants to entertain a conversation about those issues, particularly pertaining to media and how it influences our lives, I would invite you all to please comment. Comment as much as possible. Show your support. I'm doing rather well these days. I believe it says in the header, I'm only 7 days out of hospital, but that wasn't a psychiatric ward hospitalization. I haven't been hospitalized for mental illness on the ward for over 8 years. So I think I've been doing rather successfully at combating it, fighting it. But 7 days ago, yes, I did have a little bit of a breakdown. In future videos, I'll go into why. Very personal issues. I don't mind discussing them on the internet. But for now, we'll just leave it at that. And if you've enjoyed the video, if you think there's something you can learn from here, or if you have any questions, particularly about schizophrenia, because that is my diagnosis, and I guarantee you I have studied and researched the disease, the disorder. I don't like using those terms, but those are the most common ones. I've researched it very thoroughly. Um, in fact, my psychologists are frequently blown away by the understanding of how it works that I have. Yeah, so please, you know the old line: comment, subscribe, join my channel, and find these others that are producing the same things. I implore you, if you have mental health issues, you can find a lot of people out there producing videos about their own experiences. And we should be a group together. We are, as mental health patients, in my view, one of the most lacking of minorities to have their own voice. And to you younger people, cheers. You've done a great job. You've inspired me, this old man, to do this and be this brave for people. And I feel incredibly honored to have watched and known you all so well. And I hope you'll get in contact with me if you do see my video. Um, as as for that, I think we'll just call it a wrap. Again, please subscribe. Please subscribe and keep watching. And here's the real star of the show. Hey, sweetheart. You. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look up here. Look up. Camera shy? Okay. I'll let you go. Here she is, folks. Briar Rose.